attention, that Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs kind of was calling out Jalen Hurts as the game was ending, which was odd because the Chiefs lost the game and it was caught on the hot mic with Fox. And they were just kind of going back and forth. And Jalen Hurts goes basically scoreboard, like we won the game. Again, what are we talking about here? And a lot of the members of our show started saying, and we have two Eagles fans on the show, and Pat Costello and Cam Pratt, two producers on the show, saying this is why Jalen Hurts never will win the MVP. And I picked him for the MVP before the season because he had low numbers relative to passing, 100 some odd yards, and they won. But the people around the league don't respect him in the way that they maybe should. And Jalen Hurts had this to say post-game about what it's about for him.
Game isn't necessarily won off of fireworks, it's won off of scoring more points than the other team. And so that's what we're able to do. And that's complementary football. That's what it's about. In the end, you play the game for one reason. You play the game to win, nothing more, nothing less. And I'm happy that we were able to find a way to win.
15 of 22, 101, and a rushing touchdown. Is that kind of performance why he will never win MVP?
Well, I'm not going to say he's never going to win MVP. The guy came, in second in 2022 in MVP voting? He would have won MVP that season had it not been for a shoulder injury he suffered in Chicago late in the year. I'm not going to say he's never going to win MVP, but I will say it's refreshing that you actually have a quarterback that doesn't care about the stats.
Yes, sir.
This is a guy that genuinely just cares about winning, that cares about greatness. We've seen how he's conducted himself. He hasn't been on the celebratory tour this offseason, just allowing everybody to tell him how great he is. This guy is seeking out other great athletes, all-timers, and trying to figure out what the secret sauce is for sustained success. Now that he's won one, he just wants it more. He talked about it in the interview, the sit-down interview he did leading up to the Super Bowl 59 rematch on Sunday. He said he learned more about himself after the Super Bowl loss than he did after the Super Bowl win because he realized how much he wanted it. I'm sorry, if you're a fan of an NFL team, how could you not want your quarterback to have this type of attitude? How could you not want the leader of your football team to have this type of mentality, to set the agenda for everybody in the entire organization? It's clear that Jalen Hurts is willing to sacrifice whatever it takes in order to win a championship. And when that's your leader, everybody, and I mean everybody, is in a position where they have to be willing to do the same. And when you have a group of men that's willing to sacrifice personal glory, individual accolades, and prioritize team success above all else, that's a team that can do something special.
Jalen Hurts sets that agenda. He's the CEO of the football team. The franchise quarterback always is, right? What did we see last year? Saquon Barkley saying, I don't care about the record. I don't care about my individual success. I'm going to rest my body so that I'm at my best for my team when we go on to win the Super Bowl. The Eagles, the stars on the Eagles team, they are really selfless in that way. And that's why they're able to have the ultimate team success, because it doesn't matter what they do individually. I know Saquon said, I want to win the MVP, and he obviously was well on his way to doing that last year. But when Jalen Hurts takes that approach, you're right, Cece, no one else is immune from it. Everybody else has to fall in line. When your quarterback is saying, I don't care what my numbers look like, I don't care what I have to do, I don't care what it looks like in order for us to get the win, everybody else falls in line, and you saw it bear out last year. You saw the unselfish approach from the Eagles last year that directly benefited them in winning the Super Bowl.
He's played in 2 games, obviously. 34 of 45, 253 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and I think he's had a great season so far. 3 rushing touchdowns. He controls the game. I don't know where this anti-Jalen Hurts argument has come from. Why Chris Jones, who's great, felt like, I'm going to talk junk to him at the end of the game that we're losing, which was an odd move. But Jalen Hurts has done his job this year. He's prevented the other team from having the football. He's controlled the games. He played in 2 high-profile games. The first game of the season against Dallas. I understand that they're not, it's not Aikman, Irvin, and Emmitt Smith playing for Dallas. I understand that. But it's a standalone first game of the season. And then he's in a Super Bowl rematch. They're 2-0. He hasn't thrown a touchdown. He hasn't thrown an interception. And people feel like, I can rag on him. Let me be clear on this. He is at worst the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. Jalen Hurts at worst is the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. That's fact. Well, it's not fact, it's opinion. But that's my fact. At worst, he's the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. You want to take Mahomes over him? Obviously. You want to take Lamar and Josh over him? Fine. There's no one else. And
isn't it interesting? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go.
I just think it's interesting that the 2 most winningest quarterbacks over the last 3 years in the NFL don't care about stats.
Mahomes and
Jalen Hurts. They don't care about stats. Like everybody, and I said it, and I'm guilty of it coming into this season. Oh, Mahomes, the numbers, the trajectory is going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But guess what? He's winning games. Mahomes was 15-1 as a starter last year.
Both of them have rings on their fingers too.
Jalen Hurts. They cruised to 13 wins last year. Like it's interesting that everybody wants to laud these quarterbacks for putting up these 4,000-yard, 40-touchdown seasons. And yet, the 2 quarterbacks that win the most come nowhere close to those numbers.
And don't care about it.
If you include his college and pro career, including playoffs, Jalen Hurts is 92-27.
Jalen Hurts told you all you need to know about him is that when he got benched at the half of a national championship game and he cheered on his teammates and he came back the next year.
Can I say this too? The comments that Chris Jones made to Jalen Hurts at the end of that game, that's beneath Chris Jones. Chris Jones is future Hall of Famer, going to walk into Canton 5 years after he retires. He understands it's about winning. It's not about stats. Why would you say something dumb like that? You just got your ass kicked. The Los Angeles Rams. First 2-0 start since 2021 when they won the Super Bowl. So far, so good for Matthew Stafford's bad back. He's top 10 in QBR, top 5 in yards, 3 touchdowns to 1 pick. And the wide receiver tandem with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams has been among the best in the early going. But the real story is the defense. The defense is top 5 in points and yards, number 1 in defensive EPA. They've only allowed 1 touchdown in 2 games, 2nd in sacks and 5th in opponent QBR. Green Bay aside, I'm not sure there's a tougher defensive front to block in all of football. Byron Young, Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, so on and so forth. Those dudes are absolutely ballers. They came a play away from beating the Philadelphia Eagles last year in the divisional round of the playoffs. Last season, they returned to the scene of the crime in week 3 for an opportunity for retribution. It'll be interesting to see how the Rams measure up this go-round against the reigning defending Super Bowl champs.
For the team that said bleep them picks, they're pretty good at picking.
Here they are.
Every player you just mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, is a Rams draft pick.
No doubt.
On the defensive side of the ball.
No doubt.
They have the, you know what?
They have a lot of young talent.
Well, give teams credit when they have a clear-cut black and white strategy. When they were going for the Super Bowl with that older core, bleep them picks. Now that they're rebuilding, use the picks. And they're using them well, and that's a strategy. You know what the Rams are doing. They have done a hell of a job, and they are legit Super Bowl contenders.
Absolutely. And they got another one, Josiah Stewart, who's a baller too, another edge rush guy. I think he's out of Michigan. Another guy that you got to keep an eye on. They got so many guys in that front 7 that can be disruptive. Next.
Number 4.
The Baltimore Ravens. They're the 6th team in the last 50 seasons to score 40-plus points in each of the first 2 games of the season. And Sunday was Lamar Jackson's 11th career game with 4 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions, breaking a tie with Pat Mahomes for the most by a quarterback in their first 8 seasons in the NFL history. Maybe the most impressive part about their Week 2 win over the Browns is that the Ravens did it with Derrick Henry likely having the least amount of production that he'll